Who really was Nanny of the Maroons? What was her birth name? Who was her husband? Did she have children? These are the questions I will be answering in this short documentary so we can have a better understanding of the person celebrated as the national heroine of Jamaica. But before we move on to Queen Nanny's name and family history, let's talk about the depiction of Nanny on the $500 note. Now, due to the fact that we do not have a physical depiction of Nanny of the Maroons, many of you may have wondered how the image on the Jamaican $500 note came about. So let me shed some light on this quickly. When Nanny was named a national hero in 1975, there were no records of how she actually looked. And up to this day, uncertainty still surrounds Nanny's image. However, it is documented that she was a small, wiry woman with piercing eyes. Claude Gale, then a young scholar of the Jamaica School of Art, responded to a request from Principal Jerry Craig for students to conceptualize a representation of Nanny. They were to draw on their own knowledge of history to influence their work, and that was all the instructions given. The lady whose image has been used to represent Nanny is actually a St. Elizabeth resident, living around 25 minutes from a compound. A quietly unsung hero, as teachers are, she helped, guided, and mentored scores of people who have made a mark on the parish, nation, region, and the world during the years she taught there. In case you missed it, Olive Bowen, back then a student of the Jamaica School of Art, now Edna Manley College, was the model chosen by her fellow undergraduate as they competed to produce the best image to capture Queen Nanny's essence. The young art student, Claude Gale, received a token of $30 Jamaican for his efforts. And that winning drawing came to be accepted as Nanny, Queen of the Maroons. A copy of the original with the scribbling "winner" in one corner still remains in Gale's possession. Then, in 1994, with increasing devaluation, came the $500 note with Nanny's head-wrapped image. While Gale's representation of Nanny varies slightly from that on the currency, it is his drawing commissioned by the Agency for Public Information, or API, that formed an inspiration. So did you know that about the $500 note? Let me know in the comment section below. And as we delve deeper into Queen Nanny's remarkable journey, let's not just be passive listeners, but active participants in honoring her legacy. Share this video with friends and family to spread awareness about Jamaica's national heroine and the rich history of the Maroons. Remember to hit the like button if you are finding this content enlightening, and subscribe for more insightful historical narratives. Your engagement and support are vital in preserving the celebrating of the stories of those who have shaped our world. So, who really was Nanny? Queen Nanny, or Grande Nanny, was the daughter of Prince Naquan, an Asante prince from southern Ghana. Prince Naquan came to Jamaica in 1642 as part of a business excursion with Spanish merchants. However, he was double-crossed, and he and his men were sold into slavery by the same merchants. A few months later, however, he managed to escape with 600 of his men and found refuge in the Blue Mountains, where they met the existing Taino Maroons who had escaped to the hills from the time of Christopher Columbus. Now, Queen Nanny was born free in the Blue Mountains of Jamaica in 1686. Let me repeat that. Queen Nanny was born free in the Blue Mountains of Jamaica in 1686. I have not been able, however, to verify the exact date. Although there were a number of Taino, Carib, and Spanish Maroons, the Coromantee population was dominant in the Maroons, so Nanny grew up in a large Akan community that was recreated in Jamaica. And remember her father, Prince Naquan? Well, he was now referred to as King Naquan, and he ensured his kids grew up the Akan way. Queen Nanny had 7 brothers and possibly 1 sister named Sikasu. Her brothers were Kojo, Akompong, Johnny, Coffee, Quaho, Quashi, and Quaco. While I can't verify what order she was born, scholars believe she was either born third after Kojo and Akompong or fifth before Quashi and Quaco. Many people still believe that Maroon means runaway slave, but that's not true because many Maroons were born as free people in the mountains of Jamaica, such as Queen Nanny. The word Maroon is an English corruption of the word Morano, which is a derogatory Spanish-Portuguese term for Israelites, calling them pigs. And this can be found in a book called The Analytical Review of Our History of Literature, Domestic and Foreign. Queen Nanny's birth name was not well known, as she was born in the mountains. However, some Maroon sources claim that her name was Abena Pokwa, spelled Abenapokua, which could be true, as it is a popular name up to this day in Ghana. And also, I find more historical records referring to that name. But according to another Maroon source, Nanny's name is also Sarah Matilda Rowe. But this is not verified. However, some of the Rowe family in Jamaica claim to be direct descendants of Queen Nanny. According to oral history, her second husband was named Swipplemento, spelled Swipplemento, later known by the anglicized name of Rose Harris, and affectionately called Parose, then Paro. Queen Nanny was called Shanty Rose or Maro. Oral tradition says the Ro was then anglicized to Ro, that's R-O was then anglicized to R-O-W-E, although we know that many late 18th century Maroons changed their names to European ones or were converted to Christianity. Queen Nanny had 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl. She had one boy named Kwashkwaku, spelled Kwashkwaku, for her first husband, a Maroon man named Adu, spelled Adou. Her children with Swipplemento are 2 sons named Kojo and Akompong, who she named after her brothers, and a daughter who she named after herself, Nanny. Queen Nanny's military tactics. The Windward Maroons succeeded against a much superior and better armed enemy, the British. One of their advantages was their long-range communications capability, using what they called an abeng. The abeng was a crucial communication tool used by the Maroons, including Queen Nanny, during their resistance against the British in Jamaica. It was a cow horn with a hole drilled in one end, allowing for long-range communication across rugged terrain. Maroon lookouts would blow specific signals through the abeng, which were understood by their fellow Maroons but not by the British forces. These signals served various purposes, such as alerting the community to potential threats, coordinating movements during battles, or signaling the arrival of allies or messengers. The abeng played a vital role in the Maroon warfare, providing them with a strategic advantage by enabling swift, efficient communication over considerable distances, contributing to their successful resistance efforts. Nanny's troops were also masters of camouflage. The soldiers were so proficient at disguising their location that the British would circulate tales of trees in the forest becoming alive and cutting one's head off. Besides the physical aspects of camouflage, the Maroons became experts in slowing their breathing so as not to reveal their presence to someone in their vicinity. They also developed ways of creating stealthy fires that were not readily visible. The Maroons were the innovators of guerrilla warfare. They used surprise, the knowledge of the terrain, and the cleverly chosen positions in their fight against the British. Their village was located in rugged territory, with only one way in. That one way in was a narrow path that was only wide enough for one person. Soldiers trying to attack a raid in a single file were easily ambushed. To heighten the enemy's fear, Nanny's forces never killed all of the attacking forces. She would always allow a soldier to live to return to base to relay the story and horror of the encounter. When the British signed a treaty with Kojo in 1739, this success allowed them to offer a less favorable treaty to the Windward Maroons. Representatives of the British governor in Jamaica signed a treaty with the Windward Maroons in 1740. Between the colonial authorities and Kwao, who later became one of the leaders of Crawford Town, this treaty between the colonial authorities and Kwao's Maroons made no mention of how much land would be allocated to Crawford's Town. As a result, a number of disputes occurred between planters and the Maroons of Crawford's Town, and later the succeeding towns of Charlestown in Scotsall. In response, the Assembly of Jamaica had to resolve the land disputes in favor of the Maroons in order to keep the peace. In addition, later that year, there was a separate land grant signed with Nanny and the Maroons of Nanny Town, which granted Nanny and the people now residing with her and their heirs a certain parcel of land containing 500 acres in the parish of Portland. This land patent consisted of 500 acres, 2.4 kilometers squared, of land granted by the government to the Maroons of the new Nanny Town under a separate 1740 document ending the First Maroon War. The rebuilt Nanny Town, later called the Moore Town, was built on that location. In 1781, the Assembly agreed to purchase another additional 500 acres from neighboring planter Charles Douglas to increase Mooretown's communal land to 1,000 acres. The new Nanny Town Maroons, like those of Codjo and Kwao on the western side of the island, agreed not to harbor new runaway slaves, but to help catch them for bounties. They were also expected to fight for the British in the case of an attack from the French or Spanish. In signing treaties with the Maroons, the British not only made a truce with a troublesome foe, but also enlisted that foe in capturing runaway slaves. The colonial authorities initially recognized two Maroon towns, Crawford's Town and Codjo Town, later to be renamed Trelawney Town. Eventually, there were 5 Maroon towns in the 18th century: a compound town, Trelawney Town, Charlestown, Scotsall, and Nanny Town, later called Moore Town, living under their own chiefs with a British supervisor in each town. In the Journal of the Assembly of Jamaica for March 29 to 30, 1733, there is a citation for resolution, bravery, and fidelity awarded to loyal slaves under the command of Captain Sambo, namely William Coffey, who was awarded to have fought the Maroons in the First Maroon War and is called, quote, a very good party Negro, having killed Nanny, the rebels' old witch, end quote. But I don't think that's possible, because there is evidence that Moore Town was granted to the Maroons under her leadership in 1740. So she couldn't dead in 1733. Some scholars claim that Queen Nanny lived to be very old, dying of natural causes in the 1760s. That exact date remains a mystery. Another element of confusion is that many high-ranking women in Moore Town were called Nanny. However, the Maroons are sticking to their guns that it was only one Queen Nanny. According to Maroon oral history though, the remains of Queen Nanny were laid to rest at a place called Bump Grave in Moore Town in the parish of Portland. Queen Nanny of the Maroons left behind a lasting legacy that continues to resonate in Jamaican history and culture. Her fearless leadership and strategic military tactics not only secured freedom for her people, but also inspired future generations to stand against oppression and fight for justice. As Jamaica's only female national hero, Queen Nanny symbolizes strength, resilience, and the power of unity. Her legacy extends beyond the Maroon communities, influencing various aspects of Jamaican society, including art, literature, and music. Through educational initiatives and commemorations, Queen Nanny's legacy is preserved and celebrated, ensuring that her remarkable achievements and contributions to the island's history are never forgotten. I hope you learned something from this short documentary, and I would really appreciate you sharing the video as well, because the educational system in Jamaica does not really teach the real history of the island. If you're interested in seeing more historical content, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.